welcome to Books Unbound, the podcast where we unbind books to get to their hearts with your hosts. It's Ariel and
Raylene. Ray Green.
Woo!
Again.
Ray Green is here. Double green.
Yep.
Really I'm trying to smash Shrek and representing together.
Shrek
resenting.
Shrek
resentment.
That's like some kind of tongue twister. Yeah, the only thing I'm missing is still just, I need a little brown vest. That's something I need to find and wear regularly.
I would, if we lived together or near each other, I would loan you mine. I would.
Well, maybe I'll wear it at your wedding. How mad would you be if I did that?
I wouldn't be mad, but I would be like, she's going to regret that for the rest of her life.
I'll wear my Shrek t-shirt and your little vest. That'll be cute. Cocktail
Oh
hour.
my god. But speaking of which, do you have your dress for my wedding yet?
No, I actually don't. I was really hoping to go shopping for it like last week, but then it turns out that I wanted to go to this specific thrift store that's like a clothing only thrift store, and I was like, oh, it'd be so cool if I could find the dress at a thrift store.
Yeah.
And so I was like gonna go there, and then as I was about to leave, I saw that they were not open on Mondays.
Oh.
And so I have to and I was really busy this past weekend, so I didn't get to go. And anyways, I'm hoping to go next weekend. But I'm also busy next weekend, so it might not happen. It's just a nightmare. I might have to go buy it, and I don't want to.
I might have to wear that Shrek shirt, actually.
I don't know what I'm gonna do, man.
I am loving that everyone that I have invited to the wedding is like texting me updates about what they're going to wear. That's so awesome. Everyone's like, I got my dress. This is what I'm going to wear. And I'm like, this is so cute. This is such a cutie time.
I love that.
But anyways, I'm sure whatever you pick will be beautiful.
I do have a black dress I could wear. I just don't know if that's the right vibe, you know?
Yeah, I find this very interesting. Like, I would not wear black to a wedding because I'm like, weddings are like very joyful and fun. But I don't think there's anything wrong with wearing, like, I wouldn't, like, you know, you can't wear white to someone's wedding. Exactly. That actually does seem absurd to me. That's a cultural norm that I really love.
Yeah.
Just don't do that. Like, that's kind of a crazy, it's a crazy move to wear white or like a predominantly white dress to someone's wedding. But there's not like a rule about that with black. But it does feel like, I know what you mean.
Right?
That's
it's a very cute, very like romantic kind of flouncy dress. So I'm like, oh, it would be cute. Like it would definitely. I wore it to a wedding that I went to a couple of years ago.
I think I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah. So if it comes to that, I won't feel bad about wearing that. But I do want to find something a little more jolly, a little more summery. So
okay,
that's the goal. I'll let you know when I find it. I will let you know.
Yeah. Great. And we'll let the podcast know. I'm so excited in many months' time to tell you all about the wedding. It's going to be a really fun time. Well, actually, that's a beautiful transition.
Yeah.
We didn't even set up intentionally for an update. We have a couple of admin-y notes here at the top, some podcast updates that I would like to share with you that we're all very excited about. So the first one, for example, is that next episode is episode 300.
Ooh.
That's insane.
That's
insane.
Really crazy.
It's been crazy. And like, I don't know, 6 years of doing the podcast. Our 6-year anniversary is in October. So I'm sure we always like to mark these occasions with something. We'll mark that occasion with something in October, but like 300 episodes is so many episodes.
It is a lot when you really think about it.
And also because they're all like an hour long. That's 300 hours of content.
Wow,
That's
how many days is that? That's crazy. That's at least a couple
uninterrupted
of weeks of
yapping.
Uninterrupted, yeah. now when I hear that people are like re-listening to old episodes, I'm like, wow, you guys are hardcore. Like that's a lot of time. I love it.
We have something special planned for episode 300, so we're really excited for that. We're going to be recording that next week, and then it'll go out the week after that or whatever. But anyways, that's going to be exciting. Up next, this is huge. We are going on a month-long break. We've never done this. We're going on summer vacation, old school style.
I can't wait.
We are taking the month of August completely off. We were thinking about it. Well, basically, we were like, okay, it's time to plan out the summer because it's going to be crazy. Obviously, I'm getting married. That's the biggest. I'm the one causing all the chaos. But Raylene is coming to this wedding. And with Kyle. Like, it's like a whole, they're going on vacation. So they're going on a big vacation, which happens to be to my wedding. And I'm then going on a honeymoon. And you guys are also doing a trip to British Columbia to visit your family. So we were looking at August and we were like, yeah. Like, how the heck, how do we make that make any sense? And then we were like, wait a second. We could just not record. We could take a break. And we were like, how would we make that work? And what we're going to be doing is we're pausing our Patreon. So if you are currently a patron, do not worry. We are not charging you for a month where we're not making content. And if you're a patron, you'll still have access to the Discord and to all of the stuff that's already on the page. If you wanted to catch up on all of the videos and bonus episodes and things that are there, this might be the month to do it. It's all going to be there, but we're not charging you all. So we're putting the Patreon a month, but we're also, for everyone who's not a Patreon, we're just going on a month-long break. And then we'll be back in September. Wow. With an epic episode where we talk about it all. Huh?
I'm actually scared to see how many books we might haul in that episode.
Oh my god.
Because, like, we accidentally get tons of books, sometimes every week, sometimes within a 2-week span.
But the trips are the... Yeah,
and a trip, exactly.
Month and trips. Trips are where I feel like I go crazy.
Gosh, I just remembered I have so many books to pick up in BC from my bookstore. They found a lot of books for me recently. I keep texting my mom, hey mom, there's another book to pick up. Can you go grab it for me, please?
That's so exciting.
I already know I've probably got like 10 at least. Oh my god.
Wow. Okay, yeah, so it's going to be huge. We'll see how it works out. It's going to be huge, but we're excited. We're already excited to come back for September because there will obviously be so much to tell you, but we're just giving you loads of advance notice. We're not going to be making episodes in August. Next update is that we are changing up the Patreon a little bit when we do come back. We were looking at our perks and we were realizing that we're feeling a little exhausted and some of them aren't really making sense for us anymore, and so we've adjusted things. Obviously, most of the people listening are not patrons, although you should be. Go sign up. But if you are a patron and you're curious about those changes, we've made a whole video and a whole big long post all about the changes that are happening there. We'll link to that post in the description of this video, but it's all on the Patreon if you want to know about that.
Yeah.
Next update, merch sale. As you guys know, we have a merch sale going on, and you guys have been amazing. You've really bought up the merch. What do we have left? We have washi tapes left. We have some beige, I'm thinking about books, ball caps, and a couple of shirts and sweaters that are, I think all of them are extra small sizing now. And you might be thinking, who the hell's going to wear an extra small? A child could fit into that.
Oh, that's true.
So if you have a kid that loves reading, there's an idea. And some of my enamel pins are left as well. Actually, some of the ones I thought were available are sold out. You guys have really jumped on the sale, which is really exciting. We're really, really excited to kind of clear out the warehouse of everything and then start anew. That is another big conversation we're going to be having in September when we're like looking at everything. So I just wanted to mention that sale is also ending in August. So if you wanted to buy something, whatever's left, go look now. The final update. Oh, the scariest one.
It's a doozy.
We are shifting our release schedule. We currently release a main episode every week. We are now changing this to every other week. This also will begin when we return in September. Because, again, we were looking at our lives. We basically had a breakdown over text.
Yeah. We texted for like an hour.
It was crazy.
We could have just called each other, but
I just realized that. We could have called, but we totally didn't.
Texting felt right. It felt right. We were really vulnerable.
Texting was the way.
It would have been hard to do it face to face.
No, you're totally right. You know, sometimes texting is the correct medium, but we basically, I reached out to Raylene and I was like, Ray, I don't know what it is. I don't know what's changed, but I'm so tired all of the time. And you were like, me too.
I thought it was just me.
Wait. Yeah. And we were like, wait, we need to break the miscommunication trope that we hate so much in books and just talk. And we did. We let it all out. And we realized we've just been feeling overworked. And we want to be able to show up to this podcast and really give it our all, have a great time, and put on a good show. Like, you guys, I really care about putting on a good show, because if we're not, then we're just some other dumb podcast on the internet. Like, I want to show up and feel like we're making something of value, whatever that type of value is, however niche it is, whatever. But I want to feel really good about it. And lately, I haven't been feeling great about it. I've been feeling really exhausted and stressed and tired. And I don't have enough time to read. And I don't have enough time to do these other things that mean and like rest so that we have a better show. And so when we finally started talking about it, we were both like, oh my God, we both feel the exact same way.
There's a way to fix this.
And there is a way to fix it. So we're shifting to this new schedule. We've been doing the weekly episodes for 6 years, which is insane.
Yeah.
And so to us, like, it truly does just feel like a evolution, a next step that's going to work better with our lives and produce a better show that we're all just like more content with. But we know this is a big shift. It's a big change. And that's why we're letting you all know right away. And like I said, July is still going to be weekly episodes, and then our August month off, and then we come back fresh, bright-eyed in September with our new schedule.
Yeah.
Those are all of our updates. There's a lot of updates, actually. It's a big time.
Yeah. Overhaul.
It's like an exciting time. All right. CJ, do the little transition thing while I take this drink of water.
Yeah, like, whoo!
All right, Raylene. So we have been gone. We actually last week recorded 2 episodes together again because we were really busy. So we did a double episode recording last time because we had so much coming up. But you've been to one of my favorite places in the entire world, I believe.
The zoo? No, just kidding. Yeah, so last weekend, Kyle's parents came out to visit us. They drove up from BC to hang out with us for the long weekend. It was Canada Day last weekend. And so we did a bunch of things with them. We were like, oh, let's like really show them Calgary and like the area. And so before I get to the place that you're talking about, we did actually go to the zoo. On the first day that they were here, we went to the zoo, and it was a beautiful, hot, sunny day. We were enjoying ourselves. And all of a sudden, we start seeing clouds rolling in. And we were like, uh-oh, what's going on here? What is this? And when I tell you we got the most insane, like, torrential downpour that I've probably seen in Calgary yet. And it just came and went so fast. And so we went and took shelter by the lions because that's where we were. And there was, like, an overhang. So we were just, us and, like, tons of people. Us and a whole bunch of other people were just kind of, like, huddled underneath this thing. The lions were just over there looking sad and wet. But the thing that made me laugh the most was because where the lions are, like, just across the kind of little, like, road that's there is the zebras. And when I tell you the zebras looked so sad. Like, I have never seen such sad looking zebras. There's 4 zebras. Damn. They were all standing, like, face to face with each other. And they looked like Eeyore, if Eeyore was a zebra, because they were just getting rained on, and it was so sad.
No.
But another fun thing that happened at the zoo was that Kyle saved a butterfly's life. Because we were in the butterfly, like, sanctuary or whatever. There's this whole area where butterflies are just flying around. We were about to leave, and I was like, oh my God, there's a butterfly on the floor. And so I was like, nobody step on him. Like, I was like, everybody stay away from this butterfly. And Kyle was like seeing if he would fly, and he didn't want to fly. And Kyle was like, I just got to intervene. And so because you're not supposed to touch the butterflies. And so Kyle just like put his finger there and saved him. And it was very beautiful. Aww. So I loved that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it ended up being a very nice zoo trip. I enjoyed it a lot. But then what we ended up doing a couple of days after that is we went to Drumheller, which is a town in Alberta where there is this museum, a wonderful museum called the Royal Tyrrell Museum of Paleontology. It's a dinosaur museum, folks.
Yeah, it is.
I went there once as a kid. Like, I was like 11 or something last time I went there. So I don't really have that many memories of this place because it's been a while. This place is huge.
It is.
Like,
it's awesome.
The museum is massive. And it was great. Yeah, so we went the day before Canada Day, and surprisingly, it wasn't.
It was probably. It
wasn't too busy, but we got there shortly after they opened, and it was really, really hot that day. So I also think a lot of people might have been at the beach.
Yeah.
But we spent like a couple of hours there walking around because that's how long it takes to walk around. And there was so much to see, and it was so exciting. I took a lot of photos there, so we'll definitely put some of those on the Instagram. But we were just walking around, enjoying the museum, and when we were leaving, though, oh my God, the line coming out of that place was crazy. It was out the door. It was like, it was nuts. There were so many people. So we were like, we got to get out of here. And so we just booked it out of there. But the whole time we were at the museum, I was like, oh, I really want to get Jurassic Park, like the book. I would really love to buy that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And so the whole time I was like, I can't wait to get to the gift shop. I really hope they have Jurassic Park. We got to the gift shop. They did not have Jurassic Park.
Of course not. Of course
Yeah, I was
not.
like, I knew that they might not, because I'm like, that's kind of a weird thing to have. But they had like kids' books about dinosaurs, so I was like, maybe, just maybe. But they did not. So I had to buy something at the gift shop though, because I wanted to support the museum. And so I got this candle. That has their logo on it, and it's creamsicle.
Bone scent.
Yes, it smells like creamsicle, which is like very not dinosaur-esque, but it's made by someone in Airdrie, so that's cool. But I also got this little rock. It's probably a mineral, but it's calcite. It was only $6, so I was like, I'm gonna buy that.
That's fine.
But that's what I ended up getting. I was really hoping to be like, yeah, I went to the dinosaur museum and I got Jurassic Park, but it didn't end up happening. So I got.
This is one of those things where I feel like there's a lot of missed opportunities with bookshops. I mean, I find art museums usually have an incredible bookshop, like very, very, very good. But every other type of museum, I'm like, guys, it's a perfect spot. My other recent exam, I mean, was a couple years ago, but I went to the Art Institute of Chicago, in Chicago, obviously, to see the Thorn rooms, which are these like very fancy miniature rooms. And I was like, I bet you they'll have some miniatures in the gift shop. None.
Seriously? Oh my gosh.
Isn't that crazy?
That is
I'm like,
crazy.
How do you guys not sell a mini chair? How is there not a tiny chair here?
Yeah, I was also hoping to get like a little bug or something that was like in resin so that it looked like it was in amber.
Yeah. Like in Jurassic Park?
Yeah. I was so surprised that they didn't have that.
That's so surprising.
I thought that was
But it's also not. I don't know, gift shops?
I mean, they had these like glass glow-in-the-dark jellyfish. What's that all about?
What's that got to do with anything?
Who is that helping?
I will say I bought a keychain of a Triceratops there that I have had on my car keys for over 10 years now.
Yeah.
I love that. I carry Drumheller with me.
I love that. I know. I specifically because I knew that about you. I looked at the keychains. They were not very good. They weren't nearly as good as the one you have.
They weren't on the caliber of 10 years ago, whoever was in charge.
Yeah, they weren't nearly as good, unfortunately. But yeah, it was really fun, and I already really want to go back there on not a long weekend. So because it was a little bit busy in there, but it was great. And then the final kind of update I have that we did was Canada Day. Canada Day, I've never spent Canada Day in like a big city. Most of the time, I kind of just like avoid the festivities anyway, because I'm like, it's just the same old thing I've always seen. Like whatever, fireworks, you know, face painting.
Dogs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, do I need to see this at the same exact place year after year? So I haven't really done it recently, but we were like, we're in a new city, we've got visitors, let's go. And Calgary really went nuts for Canada Day. It was super cool. There was like multiple outdoor areas where there was lots of vendors. I bought some really cool sunglasses that I forgot to bring to show you, but they're really cool. And we also got to go into this place called Studio Bell, which is home of the National Music Center, whatever that means. But it was really cool. It's like, I want to say there was like 5 or 6 floors that we got to explore, and they let people in free for the day, but it's kind of like a music museum almost was the vibe, but they've also got recording studios there. There was people performing live music, but we just like walked around and looked at all these things. They had lots of outfits that different Canadian artists like wore on stage. They had this whole room dedicated to Sum 41 because they have just like recently been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or something. So there's just like lots of cool stuff. Yeah, it was great. It was so fun. And so the building itself was really cool though too. So I'm glad that we got to go in there, because I don't think I'll ever have another opportunity to go in there, because I don't think I would pay to go in there. But it was really, really cool. So
that's so neat.
We ended up having a fun day. It was really hot. Once again, it was a really, really hot weekend. So we ate a lot of food and hung out a lot.
That sounds awesome. Yeah. That really is the beauty of being in a big city. There's so many people that can gather together to pull off bigger and cooler things, for sure. And I was just going to say, Canada Day this year felt a little more important than it usually feels. I'll just say it that way. Yeah. And I had a lot of fun this weekend as well. So maybe I will shift into my little updates here. I've got some fun things to talk about. So up first, and this was really a treat, a deep treat. my friend Rosianna came to visit, and we had the best visit. It was so much fun. I love having friends over to stay, and she was just such a wonderful, wonderful guest. We had great conversations. We like got to drive around a lot in this beautiful province, but also we went to some shows. So Halifax Music Fest was this weekend, or this past weekend, and I went and saw Nickelback, and it was the best. Oh my God, it was awesome. It was such a rowdy crowd, which usually would really bother me, but like, it's Nickelback. What do you expect? Like, what are you expecting?
You gotta have fun with it. Yeah.
Everyone was drinking. Also, we were in the 19 plus section, right? Like,
nice.
So it was just alcohol abound. And at the end, there was so many cans everywhere. Oh, it was amazing. Because, like, if you're standing in a concert, I saw so many people complaining online. They're like, I can't believe how gross people are at a festival. And I'm like, I don't think you're thinking this out. Number one, if you're standing in a concert, you had to stand there for a while to get your spot. Yeah. You're not going to leave to throw away your can in a recycling spot and then walk and fight all the way back. Like, that doesn't make sense. Secondly, like, people are drunk, so they're not thinking, right?
Yeah.
And that's what they're paying for. They're paying to get alcohol, and that's how the venue's making money. They want you to drink. They want you to do that. Yeah. Thirdly, and it was so funny seeing people with like 4 cans of alcohol, like already opened.
Like, you gotta be prepared. You can't move.
Yeah,
because
they're like,
right?
I'm not moving again, so I'm drinking and I'm dropping the can. But then fourthly, they pay people every night, a huge team of people. It's amazing how quickly they clean up. They have their picker thingy, their garbage picker uppers. They got their gloves on. They've got their garbage bags, and they sweep the whole spot. Like, it's part of the event
to watch.
It's that's a job I could imagine you really like.
I would love to do
just for a day.
Oh,
that's
my God.
so funny. But it was so much fun. And get this, okay? Get this. At the end of the show, we just lingered for like a few minutes afterwards, and CJ was like, look around and see if you can find a pick, because obviously, like, Chad Kroeger will throw out picks throughout the show and whatever. And we're like, it's literally impossible. It's dark. It's an outdoor show at night. It's dark now. The picks are probably black. Like, we're not going to find them.
What are the chances?
And I see one out of the corner of my eye, and I rush over and I grab it, and I up in the air heroically say, I found one, and CJ rushes over, and it's got Chad Kroeger's little signature on the back.
Cute.
And we were so excited, and then we just left like so contented.
Yeah, that's
so
perfect.
Anyway, it was such a fun show, and I've never seen a show that big in Halifax either, so that was really fun. There was like 30,000 people there or something.
Wow.
It was crazy.
For an outdoor event is crazy too, because it's not the same as like in a stadium where you've got people up the sides.
But it was, okay, do you remember Citadel Hill? The cool hill in the middle? It was on Citadel Hill, so a lot of people were sitting on the hill. It was beautiful. Aww. But 2 days later, I was back with Rosianna. We went and saw The Killers, which was
I'm so jealous.
So awesome. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to be a phony here. I don't know The Killers very well. Okay. I only know their very, very big songs, but Rosianna is a huge Killers fan, and it's like why she came out to Canada, obviously to visit me as well, but like it was kind of anchored around The Killers.
Right.
And I it was so fun to see the concert with her, because I know that she's such a huge Killers fan, and she just knew every single cue, and she's like, the confetti's about to go, and this is going to happen, and this is why they have that, and that's why they have this. So it was like, it was like the greatest annotated version of a concert ever. Awesome. And it was just so fun to see her so in her element. So that was really fun, and I just enjoyed the spectacle of it and hearing the like top 3 songs that I know. But also, Lights opened. Ooh, and I've seen like I've paid to see Lights like 3 other times. I love Lights. I bought one of her shirts. I'm obsessed with Lights. If you don't listen to Lights, you should. She's awesome. But yeah, so Lights was another awesome show. So it was a really musical weekend. I got to see these 2 massive shows. It was so much fun. What else did we do? We went to bookshops. We walked around, so I've got a bit of a haul. But also, and this is like maybe the most important thing, the swimming season has begun. We went to the lake 3 days in a row.
Whoa.
Swim. Swimming's back, baby. Swimming. And you know why swimming's important? Not only do I love it, does it like make me truly happy. I'm never happier than when I'm swimming in the lake. That's like me at my pure bliss. But not only that, I really want to swim a lot this summer before the wedding for 2 reasons. One, get my tan. I know that you're thinking, That's kind of cheesy. I love being tan.
I need a tan too. I did not go outside at all last summer, and I regretted it so much. I was like, wow.
It's nice to get a tan, and I'm applying lots of sunscreen. Don't you worry. I've actually become very obsessed with sunscreen this summer because I'm also like, for the wedding, I don't want to be burnt.
Yeah. I was burnt the day before prom. Let me tell you. That's not fun. I fixed it. I fixed it. I don't know how I managed to do it. I fixed it.
She fixed it. So I'm like, I don't want to be burnt, so I'm really applying a lot of sunscreen, but like I'm very lucky that I am mixed race, and so I have melanin in my skin, so I tan very nicely. And this is one of God's gifts to Ariel and CJ. We tan well. And so and like the best thing is the idea of like tanning for the sake of tanning is very scary because people like you can really get a lot of skin damage that way. But if you're outside doing something fun and active, like I'm out there swimming, but I'm getting this natural tan, I'm like, awesome. But the second thing is swimming makes me stronger, and I want to feel stronger like throughout every year at the end of summer. I'm like I feel the strongest I've ever felt, you know? And so I'm like, I got to swim lots so that I feel great at the wedding and I have lots of stamina for that crazy weekend.
Yes.
But most importantly, I just love swimming. So I'm really glad that swimming is back, baby.
Yay, I'm happy
it's summer. Summer's here. Like it's fully here now. After that weekend felt like the crazy kickoff with Canada Day, the Killers, Nickelback, swimming. I'm like, okay, I get it. Summer's back.
Yeah, totally. And like similarly in Calgary, the Stampede is happening right now.
Yes,
the Calgary Stampede is a huge event. I've never been to it. We're going to be going this upcoming weekend, so I'll tell you guys all about it next week.
I'm really excited to hear about it because I have a lot of fond memories of Stampede. That's so cool. Okay, I'm excited to hear how that goes. This episode, we are going to start the bookish segment by doing a quarterly update. So if you're new around here, every year at the beginning of the year, the top of the year, we set reading resolutions, goals, missions for ourselves, things that we're excited to tackle this year reading wise. And then every quarter we check in. How is it going? Because it's one thing to set a goal, it's another thing to check in on the goal and actually see, am I accomplishing it? Does it still make sense? Et cetera, et cetera. So Raylene, how about you start us off? How's the last quarter gone? And now we're halfway through the year. How are you feeling about your goals halfway through?
Yes. Okay. So this year, instead of kind of setting very specific goals, I decided to set myself on a journey, on a quest. Yes. I have called it Shrek Quest, and I made myself a bingo card with a bunch of different prompts. Some of them are reading related. Some of them are just fun things for me to do. Cool. So in the past 3 months here, I haven't really done that much towards Shrek Quest. I feel like some of the things are very summer based, and so I'm excited to knock off some of those things. For example, one thing I still haven't done is to read or listen to an audiobook completely outside of my apartment, meaning most of the time
summer
when I'm walking around, because I don't spend a lot of time driving these days. I don't spend time on public transit, so it's pretty much just like if I'm outside walking. So that to me is a very summery thing that I'm excited to do. I also need to work on my Shrek song still, which isn't necessarily a summery activity, but in my head it is. Like I think EDM just really calls to summer for me. So there's that. Those are kind of the main ones. I also have to do some crafting. But the things that I have accomplished in the past couple of months, one of them, I don't know if I included this in the last quarterly update, but if not, I'll say it now. I read Catch-22, which was my donkey prompt, which was to read a book that's been following me around for over 5 years. And Catch-22 is like my biggest mashed potato. I guess I read it in May, so yeah, it would have been this past quarter. So that was one of my huge accomplishments. So that was really cool. I also did one that wasn't on my bingo card, which was to read the Shrek picture book by William Steig.
Oh, yes, totally.
I didn't put that on here because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to, but I happened to do it, and I actually did a reading of it for a Patreon video where I did a reading of the book, and I also did a watch along of Shrek, the first Shrek movie. So that's over on our Patreon if you're curious about that.
Amazing.
But the other big thing that I knocked off this quarter was reading Under the Dome by Stephen King, which I read for my Mongo prompt, which was just to read a book that was over 700 pages. And that book was over 1,000 pages. So I feel like I went above and beyond. Oh, I actually did one more that I just remembered. I also did Stargazing with Donkey, which was to read a sci-fi book. And for that, I did count Annie-Bot for that because you encouraged me to. And I think I'm still in a sci-fi kick, so I'm going to continue reading more sci-fi stuff. So with all of those things that I've done, including the bonus, like the free space in the middle, I have knocked off 15 out of 25 of the squares.
Okay.
So I'm over halfway. And some of them are ones that are like pretty easy and doable. One of them being to wear my Shrek shirt in public. I still have not done that. But
that feels like it could be a Stampede outfit.
Oh my gosh, that would be so funny. A Shrek shirt, shredded little jeans, some cowboy boots, and a cowboy hat. I don't have a cowboy boots or cowboy hat, but I can get that in the next week. That's actually a great idea. It's a black shirt, so it'll be really hot, but it would be a vibe.
I think it's a vibe. Stampede is kind of like hot and sweaty and crazy anyway.
That's
so
true.
I feel like that could be the perfect affair.
I think you're right. I'm going to do that. You can hold me to that. I'm going to get next week. I'll have a photo of me at the Stampede wearing my
I was going to say, we need photo. Pixar didn't happen.
There will be photo evidence. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's going to happen. I also still have to finish watching Shrek movies. I need to watch all 4 of them for part of this quest, and I've only watched the first one so far. But I'm hoping to watch Shrek 2 real soon. So overall, I'm feeling really good about this. There are some hard things that I still have to do on here, like read a book I meant to read last year. I have like a very specific list of books that I wanted to read last year, and there's only like a handful that I didn't read. So I have to pick from that list. I have to buddy read a book. I have to read a trilogy or a series. So I have a few that are challenging, and I have to make an entire song still. But I think it's doable. So actually, here's my little card so you can see. I do have a line.
Oh, you do have a line.
If you include, I don't want to put a bingo stamp on Shrek quite yet because he's looking good in the middle there. I'm leaving him alone. But I do have a diagonal line, and I'm really close to getting 2 horizontal lines. So if I do the audiobook thing, and if I craft something Shrekky, that'll be 2 more lines for me. So
is the audiobook one the top right one?
Yeah. I tried to put difficult things in the corners because I knew that I would need those corners more than anything.
Yeah. Clever. So. All right. Well, that's great. It sounds like things are going pretty well. Are there, in your statistics, like when you look at your chart, are there any surprises, anything interesting of note that we can pull out from the data?
Not really. My reading has been really strange this past quarter because I've had a lot of like, we did Mashed Potato May, we did a book club. So I've had a lot of sort of like pre-arranged reading. And I feel like this next quarter is going to be wild. And I feel like I'm just going to read a lot of unexpected things. Ooh, especially because I've been reading lots of robot books. We know that. That's been my latest trend. But I've got some other things cooking. I've got some other things that I'm like hoping to read soon as my order comes in the mail.
I see.
I have some plans. For sure. I have a plan for the trilogy thing. I might be pivoting off of my Wild Robot trilogy thing. That's all I'll say.
What?
There's something else I want to read more, okay?
Wow. Okay. That's very interesting. I'm very curious. All right. Well, I will transition into mine then. So it's been an interesting reading year so far. I'm enjoying it. I feel like really busy. And when I'm like looking at my life, I'm like, why am I not reading so much? And then I look at it and I'm like, because I'm planning a wedding. Classic.
Yeah. That'll take up a lot of mental energy and time.
That'll get you. And like, there's just also like obviously a lot of work and things going on, but okay. It's kind of, I feel like when I look at this, there's a tale of 2 stories here, okay? Story number 1 is I have never felt more aligned with my reading. Right. Like in years, maybe a decade, I haven't felt so aligned. Wow. I think that there's lots of factors going on. We talked about this a few episodes ago, so I won't go into it too much. And you guys had some interesting theories as well about like how I'm not using Instagram very much anymore, so I'm not being influenced by that, stuff like that. Like, whatever the factors are, I really feel like the stuff that I'm reading is the stuff I want to be reading. It feels very like a lot of Lucy Maud Montgomery, a lot of like just slightly random things that don't really matter in the year 2025 by some metrics, but like I'm excited to have been reading now. The other tale of that is that there is so much podcast homework that we've signed up for the last few weeks or months that like actually that freedom I was feeling has kind of paused because I had to do the book club book and do our secret episode 300 reading and some other things. And like I was also reading Intermezzo, which I totally DNF'd and forgot to talk about, but I DNF'd it. I DNF'd it. I like tried again. I read like over 100 pages of that book. So that actually took a long time. Like it was a lot of reading. And then I just like tried again, and I messaged Maureen, my beautiful bestie Maureen. I was like, Maureen, I'm sorry. I'm not liking it. I am not liking it. I have to give up. And so I DNF'd that, but that started to feel like homework. So anyways, finally a lot of these things are simmering down, and I'm like looking forward to summer reading again. So that's kind of the glance.
Yeah.
I will say one fun and interesting fact is that all of the books that I've read this year have been first time reads. I haven't reread a single book this year, which for me is pretty rare. Yeah. I love to reread, and I usually reread at least a few books a year, and I haven't reread any this year. I am currently rereading Motherhood, so that will change, but I haven't finished it yet. So up until this point, I haven't read any rereads. I find that interesting. Also, I have had 2 5-star reads, which doesn't feel like a lot, but it's something. One of them is Anne of the Island, which is the 3rd Anne of Green Gables book. Christ, it's good. And then the other one was Half-Breed by Maria Campbell. And what's funny about both of those is they're both Canadians, both Canadian books there. So I just find that interesting. Okay, so those are kind of looking at my stats and my chart and everything. But now looking at my actual goals, it's not bad, but it's also not good. You know, like I'm feeling right on the line. For example, there was 4 books that I was eagerly anticipating this year. One of them, the release date got removed, so that book's just been removed from the list. So now I'm operating with 3 books that I'm anticipating this year. Everything is Tuberculosis. I read right away and loved. Vanishing World by Sayaka Murata, haven't read yet, but it is out. And The Antidote by Karen Russell, haven't read yet and is out. So I've read 1 of 3. They're all out now. And so, because that's the other thing, right? For like a quarter of this year, I couldn't even read them.
Yeah.
But now they have been out, so I'm going to prioritize those. And then my resolutions, I have visited an Orwell site. That was one of my favorite things of the year. That was so much. I had the best time. That whole trip was so much fun. We have a whole video about that one. We turned that one into a bite. So if anyone wants to just watch my trip to Orwell's house and the church he got married and the original manor farm, that's available. And I wanted to rebind a book, and I did that as well. Yeah. So 2 big wins, which is good. But it's funny, the wins that I've had are the non-reading related goals.
I wonder why that is.
Interesting. So the reading related goals that I haven't tackled yet are read 5 sci-fi books, read 3 books set on boats, and read every Orwell. So I have made a plan. I have a scheme. Okay. I've decided to do a quarterly subset of goals here. Okay, these are, it's like a giant TBR challenge, but it's not a TBR challenge, so don't play the music, Siege.
Don't do it.
This is my scheme for the next few months. Number 1, I have 3 goals. Number 1, read the 2 other new releases. Read Vanishing World and read The Antidote. That way I will have completed all my anticipated releases. Number 2, finish the George Orwell biography that I was reading and loving. Because to me, I have to read that one before I read all the Orwells, because I love having the context of his life and career and everything before I jump into the novels. That's for me what I'm doing. And 3rd goal, boat summer. Read 3 boat books this summer. It's perfect. I live near the ocean. I have boat summer. Boat summer isn't even like a quirky thing. It's just Nova Scotia. It's just boat summer.
It's true. There's boats everywhere.
There's boats everywhere. And so I'm like, what a perfect time to lean into the boat goal and get it done. So that's becoming a summer goal. I'm going to focus my efforts on those zones and then reconvene in the fall and see where I'm at and see how I'm feeling. Because if I did that, all quote unquote, all that would be left would be to read 5 sci-fi books and read every Orwell. Those would be the 2 goals. And then I could reorient myself. So we'll see. We'll check in. That's my current scheme.
I love that. Okay, I have 2 questions for you.
Please.
The first one, because I know people have wondered about this. Are you planning on finishing Samurai William for your boat book?
Yes.
Or is that going to be one of them?
Yes.
Nice.
Absolutely. I think about that book every other day. I'm like, oh my God. So cool. I'm not really sure why I paused it. I'm sure I got swept up in an Anne of Green Gables book.
Oh, yeah.
But that is definitely a goal.
100%.
Yes.
Okay, and then the other thing I'm wondering about is how many Orwell books do you have to read?
This is a great
What's the
question.
number?
I haven't created the official list. A lot.
Oh, no.
You know what? I will put this together for next week. I will come, because I've been meaning to kind of make the official list. I will have that ready for next week, and I will announce what the actual list is, because this has been a little opaque. You're totally right. Orwell list. I've written it down.
That could mean a lot of things. That could be 2 books, or it could be 10, and we just don't really know.
Yes. It's closer to 8.
Okay.
I want to say.
It's a bit intimidating.
We'll see. We'll check in. All right, so that is our quarterly update. That's how we're doing halfway through the year. Let us know in the comments or wherever you want how you're doing halfway through the year. It's always a fun time to check in. Summer really does feel like a different reading mode. Like it's like a different experience, completely different experience. So we'll see how it all goes for us. Shall we talk about our reading these past few weeks?
I think that's a good idea.
Let's start with what we've reviewed, what we've read. What do you have on your docket, Raylene?
Well, I only have one that I can share because I did finish 2 books, but one of them was the secret book for next week. So I now have cleared my slate, which is pretty nice.
That's so exciting. Yeah.
But the book that I finished is the one I talked about last time we did an update, which was Vanishing World by Sayaka Murata, which was translated by Ginny Tapley Takamori. Sayaka Murata is a Japanese writer who has published over a dozen novels and short story collections in her home country. 4 of her books have been translated to English so far, the most popular one being Convenience Store Woman, which won the Akutagawa Prize in 2016. Murata's writing explores the different consequences of nonconformity in society for men and women, particularly with regard to gender roles, parenthood, and sex. Vanishing World was published in Japan in 2015 and was translated to English in 2025. Sure enough.
How topical.
I know, you were just talking about this, eh? Yeah. Crazy. This is one books that you want to read. So I'm glad I finally decided to read it. I felt very free after kind of clearing my slate, as I said. Yeah. And so I was like, I'm going to read one of my most anticipated books too. And I was like, this is a book that I could have just turned into a mashed potato because it's so tough when you love an author and you don't want to just read up all of their books because then you've got nothing left, but you love them so much that you want to read the book. So anyways, I did end up reading it, and it wasn't my favorite of hers. Okay. I'll definitely say that. It's definitely...
Was it your least favorite?
Ooh. It actually might be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I like Life Ceremony more than you did. And I love Convenience Store Woman.
Sorry, Convenience Store Woman, and then Earthlings.
Earthlings. Yeah. For me, it goes Convenience Store Woman, Earthlings, Life Ceremony, and then this one at the bottom. I didn't dislike it, but I definitely... It wasn't anywhere near the other ones for me. It was an interesting book, though. I feel like it was saying a lot of different things, so I'm not really sure 100% what her goal was with this book, but it's kind of in this near future Japan where they have this super amazing technology for artificial insemination, and so that has become the norm for reproduction. Basically, sex has become this weird taboo between married couples. They're like, no, we're married, we're family, we don't do that. That would be a weird thing to do with your family. And so they just have, it's a kind of a flipping of the situation. Yeah, exactly. And so that was very fascinating. And there's also this strange city that is called Experiment City, which is an area where it's kind of this culty vibe where everybody goes there to live kind of communally, and they all have children, but everybody raises the children as they're everyone is a parent to these children, even if they aren't. And so it's they're kind of dismantling the family system. That's a big discussion in this book. Is they're families, it's a thing of the past. It doesn't work. It didn't work, and we're trying to change it. So that was there was an interesting situation with all of that. And the main character is this woman who she's married during the book, and her husband both have their own little side flings going, because that's the normal thing to do now. But they decide we really want to have a child, and so they're we should go to Experiment City so we can have a child, and it'll be this whole thing. It'll be great. Yeah, that's pretty much the vibe of all of it. So it was a strange little book. People fall in love with anime characters a lot in this book, which is another interesting thing. Yeah, like there was a lot of strange elements, which some things I liked. I found it very readable. Like it's definitely the type of book that you can fly through in a few hours.
Cool.
But did it really resonate with me? No. Did the ending make me uncomfortable? Yes. Like the last few pages are really like, oh, okay, she went there. All right. So there were elements that I was like, I don't know if I agree with that choice, but it was a book. It was a book, and it got me thinking about things, which was cool. So not a waste of time by any means, but definitely not my favorite.
Interesting.
I wouldn't recommend starting with that one.
Does that mean you've read everything that's been translated by Sayaka Murata?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
I have so far. It just makes me, like, it's exciting and makes me sad because she has, I think, like 7 different short story collections and like 8 or 9 novels. I'm like, I need more of them. But I know that we'll get them eventually. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of waiting for all of them.
That's very interesting. That's very interesting. Okay, well, I'm very excited now to read it. Like, it's now one of my summer priorities. So I'm excited to read it, and then we can talk about that mysterious ending.
Yeah, it'll be better to talk about it with someone, I think. I need to talk about it with someone.
All right, well, I also finished one book this week. And it is Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. Julia Armfield is the author of Our Wives Under the Sea and the short story collection Salt Slow. Her work has been published in Granta, The White Review, Best British Short Stories 2019 and 2021, Lighthouse, and various other publications. She's the winner of the White Review Short Story Prize and a Pushcart Prize, and she was shortlisted for the Sunday Times Young Writer of the Year Award in 2019. She lives and works in London. So this was obviously our book club book, and technically our book club has now come to an end, but I finished this before our live show that we had last weekend. And this was a very interesting read. I am glad that I've read it. There were lots of elements that I liked, and I thought it was a cool book to have as a book club because especially like in the first third, there are so many fun and interesting questions that arise, and so you can like have a good time discussing theories. I also know obviously Raylene just talked about this book an episode or 2 episodes ago when she finished it, and so I don't want to go too much into detail. You've already heard about it, but basically this is about a woman and her wife. Her wife is a submarine explorer scientist lady. She is supposed to go for a 3-week expedition to the ocean floor to do another collection of data or whatever. She goes down and then she doesn't come back up for 6 months. When she comes back, she's weird. All sorts of things are going wrong. She'll wake up in the middle of the night and like in a daze walk over to the sink and just turn on the tap, and like she craves water and salt. She's starting to go silver in like her elbows and her neck, and she's like just odd things like that where you're like, is this woman turning into a fish? Is she turning into water? What, like, did she die under there and now she's a mermaid? Like, you're trying to figure that out, which is very interesting. And I guess I feel like not the scientist, the other character is the main character, but I guess they're both kind of main characters. But the other wife, she is dealing with this. She's just like, what happened to my wife? This is really weird. She's trying to get in contact with the people that hire her wife so that she can like talk to this science center and be like, what do I do? So it's a very interesting premise. And I think everyone is in complete agreement that the writing in this book is very beautiful and the imagery is gorgeous. Like, it really had a cinematic aesthetic. There was just so many beautiful images and things. But for me, it didn't come together to work. I would give this something around a 3 stars, kind of a vibe. It really made me discuss because Rosianna was visiting when I was finishing the book, and she'd already read it. And so I was talking to her a lot about plot and the concept of plot, because this book has no plot. It has like very little plot. It's like she had an interesting idea for a plot, but then it never gets taken anywhere. All of those interesting questions I just brought up to you, they never get answered. We don't know what the center is. We don't know what happened to the wife down in the bottom of the ocean. We never find out why what she's turning into or why she's turning into. Like, all of those questions that get set up that are very interesting go unanswered. And so it was kind of like the teasings of a plot, but not an actual plot. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't build. And I was thinking a lot about plot. And I was like, what does plot do? What is plot? And I was thinking about the word momentum. A plot helps the book with momentum. It pushes it forward so that you feel like you're building to something. And I feel like I will often read literary fiction from the last few years, and I feel like literary fiction writers think they don't need plot. I feel like people think that they're above plot. And I find that to be so, so fascinating, because whenever people talk about their favorite books, they're books that have plots. Whenever people talk about like the greatest classics of all time, whether those are modern classics, like Half-Breed, which is like a Canadian recent classic, or Perks of Being a Wallflower, or we talk about like old classics like 1984 or Treasure Island, like doesn't matter. The books that remain, like stand the test of time, they have beautiful imagery, they have great writing, they have a message, a moral, some value they're trying to protrude, they have character development, but they also all have plot. And I feel like this vibes over plot discussion, it's a very interesting discussion, and obviously it's an unwinnable. There's no one's trying to win. I'm not trying to say one is better than the other. I'm just saying like plot is important. It's not, and like basically my thinking here is that so many people that live and breathe the literary fiction space have decided that plot is for genre fiction.
Right.
They're like, plot, that's for Stephen King. Plot, that's for like fantasy or Brandon Sanderson or something, right? Or even for like rom-com, like that's for Emily Henry. But I write literary fiction. I don't need a plot. And I disagree with that take. I think plot is more important than we give it credit for. I think that it propels a story forward. It helps the reader to care about what's going on. It's exciting, it's interesting, and like so much metaphor can happen through plot. So much moral and value can be shared through plot. So you see, I didn't really like this book, but it made me think a lot.
There's a lot
and it
to
was
talk
a valuable
about
read.
with that for sure.
Yeah.
And it made me think a lot. And I agree that doing it as a book club was really good, because there were so many interesting theories that even after I finished it, I like looked at the Discord we had and I was like, oh yeah, I never even thought of that angle.
Yeah.
And like I don't agree with it necessarily, but that's like an interesting way to look at it. So it does get you thinking. But yeah, I was in the same boat where I was like, there were so many plot elements that were set up and then they just are never dealt with ever again. And that bugged me. And I also am not a huge vibes over plot person. It can be both. Yeah. And I think things should be both.
And like you can have short stories.
Oh yeah.
That are plot.
Yeah.
Or sorry, that are vibes. You can have poetry. That's vibes. There are ways to paint with language. We know this. But when it comes to a novel, 300 pages, it needs a plot. It needs, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm talking about my opinion. Okay? All right. Those are my thoughts. Our Wives Under the Sea. Unfortunately, not a boat book.
Oh, I know. It should have been. Could have been.
I wish. That would have been great. We should have chosen a boat book and really helped me out.
Yeah. Would have been good.
All right. Let's talk about what we're currently reading before we shift into our haul, because we do both have a haul. I am currently reading our secret book that we'll all find out about next week together.
Perfect.
And Motherhood by Sheila Heti. I'm still reading this. I'm loving this. And if I didn't have the book club book and now our secret book, I would have finished this by now. Actually, I did start another book that I'm like a third of the way through, because I'm listening to the audiobook of it. And it is Things I Don't Want to Know by Deborah Levy. Do you know Deborah Levy? She wrote, is it Hot Milk? Did she write Hot Milk?
Okay, I'm like, the name sounds familiar, but I definitely haven't read any of her books.
It was Hot Milk. And some other, and she has a book called Swimming Home that I'm like,
Swimming?
I think I gotta look that one up. Anyways, I just purchased this book, so actually this is kind of a spoiler of the haul ahead. But I thought, okay, listen to the beginning of this, Raylene. It says in the synopsis, taking George Orwell's famous essay, Why I Write, as a jumping off point, Deborah Levy offers her own indispensable reflections of the writing life. And it goes from there. And I was like, you know me, I love a book about writing, love George Orwell, have heard great things about Deborah Levy. Let's go. I'm like, I'm over a third in. Actually, I'm 50% through now. because this bookmark does not reflect my audiobook reality.
There you go.
I'm like over halfway through. It's very short, to be fair, but I'm like over halfway through. George Orwell was mentioned in one sentence, and that's it. And that's fine, but they put him in the synopsis.
They made it sound like it was a big Orwell thing.
It's the second word. Taking George Orwell's famous essay. It's like, you made me feel like that was going to be a bigger part of it. So anyways, maybe it will be in the second half. I don't know. But that's what I'm currently reading. What about you?
Well, my currently reading is also a little slight spoiler to my haul, so I'm glad that we both did that. So the reason I decided to pick up this book is because I have been watching a lot of Alex Garland movies and TV shows. He's a writer and director. He made Ex Machina. He was the director of Annihilation. He also made the show called Devs, which I just finished watching yesterday. So I was I'm really loving everything of his that I'm watching. He has a novel. Why have I not read it yet? Yeah. In 1996, this book, The Beach, was released.
That's crazy.
It was made into a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio in the early 2000s as well. I've never seen it, but this is it's a whole world. I'm exploring, I'm learning. There's a lot. He also either wrote and directed or just wrote 28 Days Later. I think he just wrote it, but he wrote 28 Days Later and the sequels as well.
Yes, I know that he wrote and did he direct 28 Years Later? Maybe. The one that's no, he wrote it. He wrote 28 Years Later. Did he do the 28 Days Later?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy. I didn't know that. He's done a lot of things that I didn't know about. So anyways, I've been doing kind of a deep dive on Alex Garland, and so I discovered this book. And Page's Bookstore, my go-to bookstore, of course, they had it. They've got everything I need. And so I'm reading this right now. I just started it the other day. I'm 84 pages in, and so far I'm really, really enjoying it. So this is about a young man. I don't know if it says how old he is, but he's like in his 20s probably, and he is kind of backpacking through Thailand. And he is staying at this hostel. He literally just shows up, goes to this hostel, and then the first night there's this kind of weird guy who's like whispering to him through like the netting that's over his bed, and he's like, bro, leave me alone, I'm trying to sleep. But he keeps whispering about a beach. He's like, there's a beach, the beach. And he's being really weird. And so the guy's like, all right, weird, strange. He gets up the next day, goes, has breakfast, and someone says, hey, there's a note on your door. Like, I don't know who left it there, but there's a note on your door. You should go check it out. And so he goes and looks, and there's a hand-drawn map to this beach, this mysterious beach. And he goes to go talk to the guy because he's like, I want to know why you did this. And the guy is dead. Uh-oh. So it's really mysterious. We don't know exactly what happened there, who this person is, why he's doing this. But essentially, there's a few other people who have like heard of this beach. They're like, oh yeah, I've heard it's Eden. I've heard that it's the most amazing place if you can get there. And so the main character and these two other people he meets decide to secretly go to this beach. And so they have to like island hop and swim across the ocean. Like it's a crazy journey to get there. But the point that I'm at in the book, like they've just about gotten there. They're almost there. And I'm like, it's already a little spooky. Like this is a thriller. I don't think there's any sci-fi elements, but I wouldn't be surprised if there were because it's Alex Garland. But it's definitely very suspenseful so far. Because they've shown up on this one island and it's like, uh-oh, you guys shouldn't be here. This is scary. So I'm really enjoying it. I feel like it's the perfect summer read, a beachy thriller. And it's just, I'm enjoying the vibe very much. So
that's so cool. What a random pick. Have you seen Civil War yet?
Yeah, I watched that last year. Yeah.
Okay, did you like Civil War? I don't remember if you did or not.
Yeah, I liked it. I wouldn't say I was blown away and super, super loved it, but I did really enjoy it. Jesse Plemons in that movie, man. Anything that Jesse Plemons shows up in, I'm like, I know. It's a banger.
It's true.
He's so awesome.
What's that new Jesse Plemons movie? It's the Yargos.
Oh, Kinds of Kindness or another one? Is there another one?
Maybe it's All Kinds of Kindness. Is that like, it's not out yet?
Oh, I watched it. I watched that. That one came out last year, I think. So maybe if there's another one.
Okay, so it's not that one. It's Emma Stone and Yargos and they're all in a new movie and it looks really interesting.
Okay.
Is it Bugonia?
Oh,
yes, it's Bugonia.
You've got me curious.
The vibes look very intense, as they always do with that crew.
I'll definitely add that to my list.
That's very fascinating. Yeah. I find it so interesting when like a director will work with a certain cast over and over and over again.
I was going to say that about Alex Garland too. I've been noticing trends.
Yeah.
I've been noticing trends for sure. I'm like, that's so cool. I love that.
Yeah, or Wes Anderson obviously does that a lot where he recycles his cast. I think that's so cool.
It is cool.
Interesting. Okay, so that's what we're currently reading. Now we shall do a haul. Wow.
My gosh.
Woohoo! We've been talking forever. Okay, I will blast through my haul, Raylene.
Yeah, me too.
I'm excited about these things. I got some cool things. I mean, obviously, the first one was Things I Don't Want to Know by Deborah Levy, and I'm already making my way through that. The next one is a real acorn book. I'm going to squirrel this one away, but it is this beautiful edition of The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells, illustrated by Edward Gorey.
Oh,
have you seen this?
Hell yeah. I've never seen that copy, but that is super cool.
It is so beautiful, and it has illustrations throughout that are so gorgeous. It's just a beauty. The colors here are like crazy, and oh, there's a real sense of menace here. This is an ultimate copy. I love finding an ultimate copy. Yeah. This is the peak edition of The War of the Worlds. That's so cool. Next up, I forget if you have this or if you've read it or not, but it is Haruki Murakami's Absolutely on Music, Conversations with Seiji Ozawa. Have you read this one?
I haven't read it yet, but I've had it on my shelf for a while. That's definitely becoming a mashed potato book because I'm like, I just think this is going to be so sick when I finally read it.
Yes. So it's very funny because I have never read a novel by Haruki Murakami, but I've read many of his non-fictions. I have, to be clear, read half of A Wind-Up Bird Chronicle. That book is like 600 pages long, so I've read the equivalent. I've read like 300 pages of his fiction, and it got so violent. I was like, I'm gonna stop.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy his non-fiction. And I've definitely seen this around, but I don't know much about it. And when I saw it, I was like, wait a sec, I picked it up. So it basically says, in Absolutely on Music, internationally acclaimed author Haruki Murakami sits down with his friend Seiji Ozawa, the revered former conductor of the Boston Symphony Orchestra, for a series of conversations on their shared passion, music. So over the course of 2 years, they listen to and discuss everything from Brahms to Beethoven to Bernstein to Glenn Gould. I don't know how I feel about Glenn Gould. That's just a hot take. A famous Canadian, a real diva. From Bartok to Mahler, and from pop-up orchestras to opera. And so this is really interesting because obviously we know that Haruki Murakami loves jazz. He's a real jazz guy. He ran a jazz radio station in Japan, and he had a jazz, not studio, what's the word? Just like a bar, like a jazz bar and stuff. So he is deep into jazz and into music. So I'd love to hear his musings on it. And what a cool format that they're like conversations. That sounds like it would be really easy to read as well, because it's literally all dialogue.
Yeah. I love that.
Which is really cool.
So I've been saving it.
I was very excited to get that one. Next up, I got The Concierge at Hokyoku Department Store, Story and Art by Tsuchika Nishimura. I forgot to mention the translator of this one. Do you think it's Peter Gabriel?
Probably.
No, it's not.
Oh my god, drama.
It's J. Rubin.
Oh, okay.
For the Murakami one.
Another go-to.
That's the other one, yeah. This was translated by... it doesn't say.
Oh.
Hold on. Oh, it's in the back. Jen Cash. So this is a very adorable looking manga. Look at this thing. It's so unbelievably cute. I can hardly stand it. It says an award-winning manga about a department store where all the customers are animals.
Oh.
We've said enough.
Yeah, I don't need to hear more.
Perfect. That's so cool. So that sounds and looks adorable. And then the final book that I got, have you heard of this one, Raylene? It is Milktooth by Jamie Burnett. Love this cover.
Looks so cool.
Yeah, that looks awesome. It says, a powerful work of contemporary literary fiction set in Cape Breton and Scotland. It's a Nova Scotian author, and part of the book is set in Nova Scotia, which is really cool. I was at a Pride event, and there was a book stall situation, and I went over and I was like, happily buy a book today, support the local scene. And I've seen this one floating around, probably because it's a Nova Scotian author, so I've seen it around. It sounds unbelievably stressful. It's about pregnancy, and you guys know that really scares me. But it sounded really, really interesting. And again, Nova Scotian author, I thought I would support the scene. Milktooth, the bookseller was saying like that they found the book super stressful. Maybe this was one for Brenna Thumb. They're like, I found the book so stressful, but so unputdownable. They're like, I had to keep knowing what was going to happen. And I was like, that sounds really cool. So Milktooth it is for old Ariel.
Wow, good pick.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. What's your stack?
Yes. So the first kind of half of my haul is a couple of weeks ago, right after we recorded the podcast. As I mentioned, I was going to go shopping for a dress to wear to your wedding. And since I couldn't, I ended up going to a different thrift store and I found 5 books. So it actually worked out beautifully. So it was I'm kind of glad that it happened that way because I found some cool books. So the first book that I grabbed, I was like, whoa, this looks really like familiar. And so I looked into it. It's called We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kleiwer. And this is a very popular book right now. It's kind of like all over the internet, I guess. And I think it used to be like, it was published on Reddit or something originally. Like he wrote it and put it on Reddit. But anyways, I found this and I was like, this is like a sick find because it's super, super popular. It's about these people who live in this house and somebody, like I think a whole family comes and they're like, oh, we used to live in this house. Can I show my kids around? God. And then it just goes from there, you know? It's described as Get Out meets Parasite. And I was like, this sounds stressful. This sounds creepy. This sounds cool. And I've heard a lot, the reviews that I read for this, a lot of people are like, okay, what did I just read? Like, I'm kind of like confused by this. Like there was a twist that is like, whoa, what the hell? So there's like a lot of discussion around it. And so I want to know what the hell is going on. I've heard some people compare it to House of Leaves too. So I'm like, whoa, is it like really confusing? Little scared. But that's also a Canadian author. So I was like, I'm just going to go for that.
Cool.
Then I also found a book that I had never heard of, but it sounds great. It's called Girlfriend on Mars by Deborah Willis. This is also a Canadian author, and it's basically about this like competition sort of thing for people to go to Mars, and so like the main characters are all like influencers who are like going to Mars. So it's kind of like satirical and funny. Yeah, and
great cover. Great cover.
Isn't that great? It's so awesome.
That looks like a 70s sci-fi.
Yes, exactly. And I was like, I know that like it is sci-fi obviously because there's people going to Mars, but I think it's mostly kind of like comedic and like just a fun book. So I grabbed that because it sounds great. And then also, very excitingly, I found How Music Works by David Byrne. And this one was such a fun find because the day that I went to the thrift store, literally as I was driving there, I was like, I think I'm going to start listening to Talking Heads again. It's been a little while since I've listened to Talking Heads. Good. And then I found this book, and David Byrne was the lead singer of Talking Heads. So I was like, well, that's great. Also, just like, it's just like a tome about his experiences with making music. And it's got pictures in it. And I just think this is awesome. So I grabbed that because I really enjoy that kind of stuff. So really hyped to find that. Then I also got The Year of Magical Thinking by Joan Didion.
Oh, yeah. Classic.
Joan Didion
has become a modern classic for you.
Yeah, well, there you go. Because you read this and really enjoyed it, and I saw it there, and I was like, I have been meaning to pick this up for a while. It's a used copy. It's great. I now own 4 Joan Didion books, and I still haven't read a single one. So that has become my new author that I do that with, apparently.
That's awesome.
But I really hope to read at least one this year. That's the goal. We'll see if that happens.
That's a micro goal, yeah.
A micro goal, exactly. And then the last book I got at the thrift store is 6-4 by Hideo Yokoyama, which is a Japanese like murder mystery book. I don't really know much about the plot. I just came across this back when I was in my Japanese murder mystery phase after I read the Decagon House Murders. I was like, I need to know what the... That
just reminded me, you got so many cool Japanese murders this year.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have them, and now I can read them whenever I want, you know? And I've been like trying to find this book for a while. I found it at a bookstore once, but it was in terrible condition, so I didn't buy it. And so finding it at this thrift store felt like victory to me. I was very happy to find that. So that was my thrift haul. And then just the other day, I decided to go to Paige's bookstore, which is where I, of course, picked up The Beach. I kind of went there like intending to find The Beach, but I wasn't finding it. So I found some other things first, and then I ended up finding it after. But actually, the main reason I went to Paige's was because I wanted to get Jurassic Park. And I did. So
that's so sick.
So I picked up Jurassic Park, which is by Michael Crichton. And this, it was funny. I was really hoping to find like a nice trade paperback copy of it, but it doesn't seem like that's available anywhere. So I had to get a good old trade or a mass market paperback. And it was kind of funny. I actually just told my friend that I picked up this book, and she had just been on a week-long solo camping trip where she read a whole bunch of books, and she was like, I was going to bring Jurassic Park with me, but I didn't. When I get back, we should buddy read it. So
yes.
that's the idea. Hopefully I will read this sometime in the next couple of months as a buddy read with my friend, because she also loves dinosaurs. So I just feel like she'd be the perfect person to read that with. So I'm really excited to have that.
Sick.
But then a couple of books caught my eye also while I was browsing, including The Beach. But the first one here being is Under the Eye of the Big Bird by Hiromi Kawakami. Nice. Which is her newest short story collection that came out this year, in English anyway, and it was shortlisted for the International Booker Prize this year as well. And as we know, I love Hiromi Kawakami. I've read a lot of her books. She used to be my author that I just owned like 6 books of and hadn't read. But I've read most of her books now that are out, and I'm really excited to read this one because our buddy Max read it multiple months ago and loved it. And when somebody loves an entire short story collection, I listen.
Rare.
I listen to that, you know?
Yeah.
And I have been waiting for it to come out in paperback. I had no idea that it was available in paperback yet, so I kind of snatched.
No, me neither. That's surprising. I bought that book for Connor for his birthday in March, and it was still in hardcover.
Yeah, I feel like it must have just come out, or this is like a European copy that they somehow acquired. Anyway, I was really happy about that, so I was like, yoink, I'm gonna grab that for sure. But then the last book is one that I've been really excited to get, and it just came out very recently, and some people have also been sending it to me like, you should pick up this book, and I was like, yeah, I will. And that is The Compound, which is by Ashlyn Rawle. Okay. So this is exactly up my alley. It is about, it's like I don't even know the full plot because I don't want to go into it knowing too much, but essentially it's like a reality dating show, I think, meets Lord of the Flies. Like, it's a little bit survival, but it's also a dating show. And it's all like, if you look at the cover, there's just people hanging out in a pool, but like the mountains in the background are on fire. So that's pretty spooky. So yeah, like I said, I don't want to know too much about this because I think it's just going to be so fun, and I want all the twists and turns to be available to me. So, but that's what that one is. So all the people who've been recommending it to me, you have done the right thing, because I'm really, really excited to read that. The thing that I wanted to say about that too, though, is just like a week or two ago, you and I were like, should we be buying hardcovers anymore? And so I thought about it a lot. I really thought about it a lot before buying this one. I have been on the wait list at the library for this book for a while. And what I've decided to do is I'm keeping that hold active, and I have to read the book before the library copy comes in for me.
Oh,
that's my TBR challenge.
That's cool.
I'm currently number like 43 or something, and they have 8 copies. So it could be a matter of like 2 weeks, 3 weeks if people return it quickly. So my plan is to read it very soon, and I will keep you posted on that. I will be honest. I will be completely honest.
I think that's a cool shift. I didn't actually even think about it, but I did buy one hardcover, which was the Things I Don't Want to Know.
But you're reading it now.
But I am already reading it, and I'm definitely going to finish it this week. So I feel like that could just be a shift that we make. Like, basically, if we're buying a hardcover, it's because we're committing to reading it that month, kind of a thing.
Yeah, and I remember we used to have a system kind of like that, but then it fell apart, and we weren't really consistent with it. But I am trying to be more conscious of it, because, like, this book wasn't cheap. And the reason I bought it is because I don't want to wait for the library copy. I had that struggle with myself where I was like, can I wait multiple weeks? Like, I really want to read this. That's a really good point. You know?
Yes, that's a really good point. Because if you could have just waited for the library, then why the heck did you buy it in such an expensive edition? Okay.
Exactly. So that's my goal.
That's a scary challenge, but I think it's a good one.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to read it. But that's my hope.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, look at us. That's a fun week of book buying that we just did. 4 new books on my pile. No, 5 new books on my pile. That's awesome. All right, let's finish this episode off by taking a little visit to the mailroom. So, the comments on last week's episode are starting to roll in, and they're already so funny. Last week's episode was our reading confessions episode, but we kind of put it on its head, where it's Raylene and we confessed things. Sins,
transgressions. I love the title for that.
And I like the comments have been so funny as everyone has like is giving me us their little confession. So I pulled a bunch of those and some other things as well. So I'll start there. MJ in Canada said, "My confession is the opposite of hiding books in the stacks. My friend wrote a book and I want to help boost his sales. So I would go into bookstores and place his book face out on the shelves. This guaranteed that everyone would see the cover." That's awesome.
That's genius. I've definitely done that with like favorite books of mine where I'm like, oh, I just want people to see it. I just want people to look at it.
I think that's so great. Strawberry Hair Clips, very cute name, says, "I completely agree with picking out a book sometimes being more fun than reading one." So she's agreeing with your confession.
Hot take.
I was just thinking about this weekend. Instead of reading any of my million books that I've been stockpiling for the collapse of society, I sat on the couch with my coffee and spent a couple of hours of bliss browsing Libby and adding to and cleaning up my tagged books. It was delightful. And then they added, "I was also the weird kid who enjoyed sorting their Halloween candy more than eating it." So there's definitely
so true. I'm also that person. My brother used to make fun of me for like hoarding candy. I wouldn't eat it for months.
That's very interesting. That does say a lot about you. I kind of feel like I was the middle way because the night of Halloween, I would have so much fun trick-or-treating. I would come home and then I would create an elaborate bar chart. So I would basically have like every Kit Kat that I got in an order, and then every O. Henry, and then every like whatever it was to understand the statistics of the situation.
You gotta know.
I loved doing that, and then I would eat it right away.
Of course. Yeah, I love that. That makes a lot of sense too.
Okay, next one from Rachel. Reading confession. I had to read One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest for English in high school. I skimmed the first 100 pages at best and managed to get an A by watching the film.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Sometimes
that's an incredible. I love that confession. I feel like so many people are going to relate to that. Oh, yeah. I think that's so much fun. I kind of did that with Jane Eyre. I did grade 12 English during the summer because I wanted to have extra electives during. God, let's not go back to that.
Let's not think about that.
But anyways, I would do summer school on purpose so that I could get ahead. Ariel is who Ariel is, all right? But that summer semester of English, we were supposed to do Jane Eyre. And I only read like 50 pages of it. I was like, I've seen the adaptations. I got this. And I did. It was fine. Wow. The adaptations are so good. Okay, Julie says, "If only I could share photos on here, I would show you both my latest discoveries. First, an amazing fake book box." I think we can all picture those. Those are like, they look like books, but they're boxes. A fake book box written on it, "Keep calm and mashed potatoes," with a mashed potatoes kit inside.
What?
Can you believe it? I'm like, no, I almost can't.
That sounds fake.
And then the second is a book I saw at Perfect Books, brackets, Ottawa girly here, woo woo. Agreed, woot woot, named We Could Be Rats by Emily Austen. I know that
I have heard of
we've been flooded with recommendations for that book for you, Raylene.
I know.
That sounds like a perfect one for Raylene. Also, Ariel, when you pass by, you need to see the 2 new bookstores in Ottawa. So that's very interesting because I'm going to a wedding this year in Ottawa. And I didn't know that there was 2 new bookshops, The Spaniel's Tale and Westboro Books. So I will definitely be looking into those. All right, then the last 3 comments that I pulled are kind of like all on the same topic of short stories. Oh. I just found them interesting. Jerry says, "I don't even read short story collections, but I know a lot of people that like to treat them as an author sampler. Like you can pick and choose different stories, but maybe not necessarily read the whole thing." Next up, Hey Kimby says, regarding short stories, maybe this is an unpopular take, but I don't think most short story collections shine when you read them from cover to cover as you would a novel or another single piece of writing. I love short story collections and read them regularly, but only 1 or 2 stories at a time, then put it back on the shelf. And she said more interesting stuff, but skipping forward to the third one from Al, this is an uneducated hot take, but I think the publishing industry / maybe capitalism has kind of ruined short stories and novellas. Before, you could just release your short story out to the world on its own, but now you need to compile enough to like create a whole sellable book.
Yeah.
And I feel like because of that, there are a lot of filler stories.
That's
so
a
I
great
thought
point.
these 3 comments were all very interesting, all posted independently. They weren't like responses to each other. But I think it made me think about how I bet you there's been a really big impact on how we read short stories because of how incessant we are all on logging our reading. And like, you don't want to log a short story. You want to log the whole book. So you feel like you've got to start it and finish it so that you can log it and be like, I've read another book this year. And meanwhile, it's kind of like this dipping in and out of books that I feel like people don't do very often. And I feel like we should all do more.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you and I talk about rereading books all the time. And I'm like, why do we need to reread the whole thing? Like, why not just dip in, read a couple of the most fun chapters of the Hunger Games, and then dip out? But we feel like we have to read the entire thing so that it can get charted on our thing. This is, to me, made me think more about what we're always kind of discussing, like how charting your reading does actually really change what you read and maybe how you enjoy it. Like, maybe short stories shouldn't be read cover to cover. So just interesting.
Yeah, that is really interesting.
All right, what did you pick out?
Okay, so I've got some comments from our Patreon. Some of them are from the Reading Confessions episode, and some are from the episode before that as well.
Sure.
So just starting from the top here, I've got Elisa says, Ray, I have a collection of The Hobbit, and I've read it once when I was 13. In my defense, my collection is copies in different languages from countries I've been to. I feel like a reread is my biggest potato. I feel like that was very nice to hear as the person, like my confession was of course about The Great Gatsby and how I have barely read it. So that was really nice to hear. Annalise says, I stole Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim from my teacher. And then 15 years later, she became my boss. I know, this one's actually so good. I finally confessed, told her I still had the book and would return it if she wanted. She just laughed, amazed I'd kept it all that time, and said I'd earned it. Still have it to this day.
That's so sick.
It's also funny because a lot of people have been recommending that book to me too because of the rats. So just know I've been hearing your guys' recommendations. I haven't started a collection yet, but it will happen one day. And then Alba says, question for Raylene. Do you always read the same copy of Gatsby? Having so many, I think I would like to hop between versions so they don't feel lonely. Yes, I mean, I've only read it 3 times, but each time I've read it, it has been a different copy. So that's the idea. Okay. As I go through my life, I will always read a different one because I've got enough. Then Lisa says, loved this episode. Raylene's shopaholic confession really resonated with me. Me and my best friend were obsessed with Marian Keyes books when we were in our early teens. Target audience, 30 to 40. Interestingly, I reread one a few years ago at the age of 35, and it didn't work for me. So I feel that because I don't know if I would care as much about shopaholic books now as I did when I was like 13.
That's interesting.
Okay, this next one is from T. And this, Ariel, you responded to this comment, so I know you've seen it. They say, okay, Ariel, at least you stole a fun, age-appropriate book. When I was in the 5th grade, I stole a book from my teacher, a teacher I really liked, and it was a big-ass biography of Abraham Lincoln. I read it in class, and it had pictures of his life, and I loved it. And I was like, well, this book should live with me now. Yoink! I never read it again and felt so guilty, but not guilty enough to give it back. And I kept it until I was like 20 to punish myself.
That's so dark. The ending of that is a little dark, but that's so funny.
I know, you just got this huge biography, like, I don't even care. Why do I have that?
I saw somebody else comment, I don't know if you pulled this one on Discord or on Patreon, but someone was talking about how, like, they took a book and then they later confessed it to their teacher or something like that, and then their teacher was like, they literally don't care when kids take books because those are like, they're clearly a kid who needed that book, and that book has found its way to the right reader. Like, it's going to be cherished, it's going to be special. I'm like, I like that perspective. I'm gonna hold on to that perspective.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Okay, I've just got a couple more. One from Taylor, who says, stopped in at Page's bookstore today on my way through Calgary and can confirm they have a copy of Albatross in the basement. And I just wanted to shout that out because I was there the other day and they do still have the copy. So if anybody happens to be passing through Calgary, go to Page's bookstore for Albatross. And then this last comment from Rachel was very funny. I love this. So she says, the idea of Raylene collecting rat books and putting them next to her cat books reminded me of an old John Green bookshelf tour video he did, where he specifically pointed out that he separated his books about 2 different religions with a wicker basket to keep them from fighting with each other. Feel like Ray might want to do the same. I love that so much. I was like, that's the move. That's what I have to do. The rats and the cats will be close, but I have to keep them separated so they don't
I think you do
fight.
need to separate them. That's adorable.
I love it.
Well, thank you so much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this big update. This was a good one. I feel like we talked through so many different elements. Like we mentioned earlier, an hour and a half ago, we are going to be coming back next week with our 300th episode. Wow, crazy.
Yeah.
And we're really looking forward to recording that one. We have a couple of little fun things planned for that. And we're looking forward to, chatting again next week. So we'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.